Hey you guys, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Wulan Widaningsih and I'm from Managerial Accounting of Batam State Polytechnic. Today in this video, I'd like to explain to you about ASEAN community. But first, before we jump to the main topic, I want to tell you a brief history about ASEAN. So without any further ado, let's check this out. So guys, ASEAN stands for Associations of Southeast Asian Nations. ASEAN was formed on 8 August 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand by 5 founding countries such as Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, and of course Thailand through the signing of the Bangkok Declaration. ASEAN has 9 member countries. There are Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Brunei Darussalam, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia. There was a strong desire from the founders of ASEAN to create a peaceful, safe, stable, and prosperous Southeast Asian region. This idea was raised because of the situation back into 1960s where the region was faced with the situation that were prone to conflict, such as struggle from the ideological influence of large countries and conflicts between countries in the regions, which, if not corrected, the conflict could disrupt the regional stability and hamper development. The purpose of establishing ASEAN as stated in the Bangkok Declaration is to 1. Accelerate economic growth, social progress, and cultural development in the region. 2. Enhancing regional peace and stability by respecting justice and the rule of law in relations between countries in the region and abiding by the principles in the Charter of the United Nations. Number 3. Increasing active cooperation and mutual assistance in issues of common interest in the economic, social, engineering, scientific, and administrative fields. 4. Provide mutual assistance in the form of training and research facilities in the fields of education, professions, engineering, and administrations. Number 5. Collaborate more effectively to improve their agricultural and industrial use, expand trade and study international commodity problems, improve transportation and communications facilities, and improve the living standards for their people. 6. Advancing studies on Southeast Asia, and the last is maintain close and useful cooperation with various international and regional organizations that have similar goals, and to explore all the possibilities for close cooperation during its between 4 decades themselves. of existence, ASEAN has experienced many changes and significant developments that have led them to the maturation of ASEAN. The formation of ASEAN community began with the commitment of ASEAN leaders by signing the ASEAN Vision 2020 in Kuala Lumpur 1997, which aspired to ASEAN as a community that was forward-looking, living in a peaceful, stable, and prosperous environment united by partnership, relations in dynamic development, and people who care about each other. Then, the determination to form the ASEAN community was then reaffirmed at the 9th ASEAN Summit in Bali in 2003 by signing the ASEAN Concord II. Then the aim of forming the ASEAN community is to further strengthen ASEAN integration in facing the development of the international political constellation. ASEAN cooperation is now heading to a new stage that is more integrative and forward-looking with the establishment of the ASEAN community in 2015. ASEAN countries then recognize the need to increase their solidarity, cohesiveness, and effectiveness of cooperation. Cooperation activities within ASEAN will no longer only focus on economic cooperation but must also be supported by other collaborations in the field of security and social culture. So, to maintain that balance, the establishment of 2015 ASEAN Community is based on three pillars. There are ASEAN Political Security Community, ASEAN Economic Community, and ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community. Okay guys, now the topic is getting more exciting, right? And we're heading to the main topic. Now I'm going to explain to you the three pillars of ASEAN Community and also the challenge and the opportunity. Now, the first pillar is ASEAN Political Security Community, or APSC. So the APSC was formed with the aim of accelerating cooperation in security politics in ASEAN to bring the peace in the region, including the international community. In accordance with the ASEAN Security Political Community Action Plan, the community is open, uses a comprehensive security approach, and is not intended to form a defense pact or military alliance or a common foreign policy. The APSC blueprint concept was based on the agreement of the 13th ASEAN Summit in 2007 in Singapore to replace the 2004 and 2010 VAP. The concept was endorsed at the 14th ASEAN Summit in Thailand in 2009 and was outlined in the Cham Hua Hin Declaration on the roadmap of the ASEAN community. The APAC, the blueprint, consists of 3 characteristics, 11 elements, and 137 actions.
The APAC blueprint consists of 3 characteristics, 11 elements, and 137 actions. The 3 characteristics are as follows. The cooperation in the APSC framework, as contained in its blueprint, is elaborated more specifically in political, security, and legal cooperation, covering a broad spectrum of traditional and non-traditional issues, from efforts to advance good governance, addressing the problem of terrorism, tackling natural disasters, and eradicating corruptions.
The second pillar is ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC. The blueprint of ASEAN Economic Community, along with the strategic schedule that includes new initiative and a clear roadmap for achieving the formation of the 2015 AEC, was agreed in 39th ASEAN Economic Ministers, or AEM, meeting in 2007. Regarding the agreed concept of ASEAN Economic Community Blueprint, the 39th meeting of AEM also agreed on the roadmap for the integration of ASEAN logistics services sector as the 12 priority sectors for ASEAN integration. And they signed the protocol to amend Article 3 of the ASEAN Framework Agreement for the integration of the priority sectors. The 12 priority sectors revert to agriculture-based, air travel, automotive, e-Asian, electronics, fisheries, health, rubber products and their derivatives, textiles, tourism, and wood products, and also logistics services.
There are 4 things that became the focus of the AEC in 2015, and that will be a good opportunity for Indonesia. The AEC opportunities. From the investment aspect, these conditions can create a climate that supports the entry of foreign direct investment of FDI, which can stimulate economic growth through technological developments, job creations, human capital development, and easier access to work markets. From the aspect of employment,
There is a huge opportunity for job seekers because there can be many jobs available with various needs for diverse expertise. In addition, access to go abroad in order to find work becomes more easier even without certain obstacles. AAC is also a good opportunity for entrepreneurs to find the best workers according to desired criteria. In the absence of obstacles in the trade sector, Indonesia is able to increase export-import activities so that it can increase gross domestic products or GDP. Therefore, Indonesia is able to compete with its superior products in fisheries, agriculture, and plantations. So guys, with the presence of ASEAN event, Indonesia has the opportunity to utilize domestic economies of scale as a basis for profit. However, Indonesia still has many challenges and risks that will arise if the AEC has been implemented. Therefore, risk professionals are expected to be more sensitive to the fluctuations that will occur in order to anticipate the risk and arise appropriately. In addition, needs collaboration between state authorities and business actors is needed. Infrastructure, both physically and socially, law and policy, needs to be addressed, as well as the need to increase the capabilities and competitiveness of workers and companies in Indonesia. And finally, the third pillar is ASEAN Sociocultural Community, or ASCC. So the ASEAN Sociocultural Community Blueprint was adopted at the 14th ASEAN Summit in Thailand in February 2009. The drafting of ASEAN Sociocultural Community Blueprint is intended to provide guidelines for ASEAN members countries in preparation for the formation of ASEAN Community in 2015 through the sociocultural pillar. The ASEAN Sociocultural Community contains 6 main elements and 348 action lines. The characteristics are 1. Human development consisting of 60 action lines. 2. Social welfare and protections consisting of 94 action lines. 3. Social justice and rights consisting of 28 action lines. 4. Ensuring sustainable development consisting of 98 action lines. 5. Building an ASEAN identity consisting of 50 action lines. And the last is narrowing the development gap consisting of 8 action lines. Once approved, the ASEAN Sociocultural Community Blueprint is expected to be immediately integrated into development planning in each ASEAN country and implemented at the national and regional levels. The successful implementation of the ASCC blueprint certainly requires a strong support and involvement of all stakeholders, ranging from the government, civil society, or community members at large. So, what do you think, guys? Now you know that ASEAN community is not a threat, but it's our new opportunity to expand the development of our country. Now, it's your turn to create a good and qualified human research so we can continue to expand our development and bring Indonesia as the number one in ASEAN.